Hey guys, welcome to the Reseller Information Network. I'm your host, Eric the Obxpicker, here with a whole panel of experts. Myself, I wouldn't probably put myself in that category, but I'm the jack of all trades, master of maybe some. But we're here today and we're talking reselling, all things reselling. This show is going to be about everything to do with reselling, no matter what platform you're on, no matter what you're selling, where you come from, or where you live. We're going to be talking reselling. So come on our Instagram, come on our Facebook. Go ahead and drop some questions in the comments down below. We'll be getting to those topics. We're going to be talking about all those things here on this show. And with me today, we have a great panel of experts. First up is Tim, over the years, the glass master extraordinary, sports card savant. Also has the largest 7-Eleven point total of anybody in the entire reselling world. Tim, over the years, what's up, brother?
What's going on, everybody? I'm super excited about putting this together with my brothers. Everybody here, we are a one big happy family. And yes, I am approaching that 100,000 point mark at the 7-Eleven point. So I will keep you guys updated throughout every episode to see where we are landing. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Tim from Over the Years. I sell on every single major platform there is possible. That's eBay, Etsy, Mercari, Poshmark, Depop, Grailed, and whatnot as well. I do specialize in antique and vintage glass, ceramic, and porcelain pieces, but I enjoy reselling everything under the sun, including vintage clothing, sports cards, sports memorabilia, electronics, you name it. If I can make a profit on it, I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to flip it. So super excited to be able to help others in this community as much as I possibly can.
All right. Awesome to have Tim part of this panel, man. What a great guy. He's been a good friend of mine for a long time. Next up, we have Cernochsconnection. Chris, also known as Tank, a.k.a. Cernoch, is what we all call him. He's the man who introduced us in the reselling community, honestly, to the hat game. Mr. Hat Camp Director, Cernochsconnection, Sir Snapback, the vintage clothing connoisseur, also has a hidden toy store that he don't talk about a whole lot. But this guy, you know what he does? He just rents a U-Haul when he's going yard selling. He don't even play with the small time stuff. Chris, great to have you with us, man.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, again, awesome job putting this all together for us to take part in this. Listen, hats, shoes, boots, toys, jackets, vintage clothing, you name it, I'm into it. I got a basement filled to the gills with this stuff, and I'm a one-man show trying to list every day. I'm on eBay, Grailed, whatnot, Poshmark, a bunch of major platforms, selling every day, shipping every day. So, hey, if you got a question about some vintage tee from 1987, I might be your guy. If you're looking for vintage trucker hats, I've got thousands and thousands of them. So, yeah, I'm your guy when it comes to that. But like I said, like Tim and like most of you guys, I sell everything. We were listing puppets today. So you never know, what you come across. I love to buy cheap and sell high. That's my game.
There you go. Man, it's such an honor to have such a pool of experts here with us today. We also have my guy, Blood, Sweat, and Cell, Leroy. Leroy is the master technician of restoration. Like, this guy can take a grinder to probably a Barbie doll and get it cleaned up, looking sweet. So he's also the tool man from way back. Like Tim the Toolman Taylor, like that's way after my man Leroy. Leroy was dealing with tools from the cradle, so he come out. But here's a little hidden secret about Leroy. Leroy this past year probably sold more wrapping paper than Macy's. This guy, it sells a little bit of anything and everything. Great friend of mine, good friend of the channel, my man Leroy.
What's going on, everybody? Listen. This is amazing to be on this panel, to be with everybody here, just to learn stuff and to teach you guys stuff. A lot of people look at me and they say, oh, tools. I don't want to bother with tools. You have no idea. This is how I make a living with tools. So you're sleeping on tools, you're sleeping on me, you're sleeping on my crew. Get a little knowledge, learn some stuff, and just, enjoy yourself. You have questions, like they said, put it in the chats, and we'll get to them. If you have special questions for me or anybody on the panel, we all have Instagrams, and you can definitely hit us up there. Just a pleasure to be here. Thanks very much, guys.
All right, guys. Last and definitely not least is Old School Flips, Jimmy. Rocking that Old School Flips hat. P.S. If you need a hat, see Jimmy. Hit him up on the Insta. He'll hook you right up. This is the professor of vintage toys. No, guys, he's not setting in a toy store right now. This is his collection that's behind him. You're only seeing a piece of the bigger picture. He's also the video game virtuoso. This guy once drove over 2,000 miles just to go picking. This dude is serious. He's for real when it comes to reselling. Come and check him out on, basically, if you look at reselling YouTube, this guy's everywhere. He's everywhere. He's West Coast. He's East Coast. He's in the middle. He's everywhere. So check him out. Old School Flips, my man Jimmy. What we got going on, bro?
Hey, Eric, thanks for the kind words. Everybody, you guys, thanks for letting me join you. Now, I'm not an expert, like Eric said. He actually asked me to come on to be the face of the show. We had to have some good looks on the panel, so I appreciate you hyping me up. But the reality is, I'm here for my good looks. I'm gonna try my best to bring information on toys. I'm still learning as I go, but I've learned a lot over the last 3-4 years about toys. That's the main thing I look for and sell. Like you said, video games, but I'll sell just about anything. Old School Flips on YouTube. Mainly my channel is picking at the yard sales. You'll see the stuff that I'm finding and selling. And we're going to go over a lot of that stuff on this channel. We're going to learn a lot about what everybody talked about. And it's going to be, for new sellers, people that are just starting, we're going to teach you you're going to learn a lot of good stuff from these guys on this panel.
There we go, guys. Man, awesome to have all these great resellers here with us today. We're going to dive right into our first segment. First segment up is called the 101, and we're going back to basics.
All right, guys. So we're going to talk about shipping. We're going to talk mainly about boxes. So we could do an entire video on shipping. Hours. So we're going to break it down into segments. And today I'm just going to talk about boxes and some of the things you can do to help you early on. Again, new sellers. I remember when I first started, I didn't even know the difference between priority and first class. And I shipped some first class stuff in a free priority box. Big mistake. I actually did that as I was learning. So this is going to be a quick breakdown of some of the stuff you should keep on your shelf to ship items. And it's going to be priority mailboxes, which priority mailboxes you can get free. We'll have it linked down below. So when you think of priority mailboxes, you might think of like flat rate. Well, they don't just have flat rate boxes. You can get other boxes for free from the post office. Priority mailing boxes, and they come in all different sizes, like a shoe box. They have a DVD box. They have all kinds of priority mail boxes that you can order for free, and that's linked down below. These you're going to want to have on hand for when you sell stuff that weighs over a pound. You can put it into that box. You have that box for free from them, and you can ship it priority mail at a pretty fair price. And it's going to be great for that stuff that's over a pound, but not too heavy or not too big and bulky. So you definitely want to order some of those boxes. Keep them on your shelves. You can also cut them down to sizes that you want. You can ship them. We call that a Frankenbox, right, guys? Like we call that a Frankenbox when you reshape the box, slap the priority mail box on them. You're going to want to have a scale around because you're going to want to know what items you have listed that weigh over a pound so you can weigh them and have an idea if they're going to go in that priority mail box, and then have the right box on your shelf for that item that weighs over a pound. But first class mail is amazing too. So you're going to want to have what I call brown boxes or like Amazon boxes. Like if you know someone that shops on Amazon a lot, ask them to save boxes for you, because stuff that weighs under a pound, you cannot put in the priority mailbox. If it weighs under a pound, it has to go in your own box, a brown box or a bubble mailer. Bubble mailers work great for that as well. So you're going to want to keep this stuff on your shelf for the smaller stuff. Again, that it weighs under a pound. You can throw it into one of these bubble mailers or one of these brown boxes, and you can save a lot of money on shipping. Sometimes $6, $7 less for first class compared to priority mail. That's the stuff I wanted to just give you information on real quick. Try to keep boxes on your shelf for the stuff that weighs over a pound and under a pound. The brown boxes you're going to either have to buy, or like I said, get someone to give them to you, or go down to your Walmart and ask if they have any boxes laying around that you can use to ship. And then you're going to want to keep free priority mail boxes for the stuff that weighs over a pound. And you guys ask questions in the comments down below if you want to know more about shipping, more about what kind of boxes to keep and where to get them. We want to answer those in the future on this segment, the 101. We'll have some of the other experts talk about that kind of stuff. This was just an initial idea of what the basics, again, the 101 of what you should have on your shelf to get started selling on whatever platform you decide to sell on and be able to ship those items at a low cost.
And we're going to find out, hey, what's trending? And, you know, it may not necessarily be what's trending on YouTube or what's trending on, it's what's trending in real reselling. Well, there's no better guy to tell you about that than my man Cernoch.
Hey, all right. So what's trending? Like, listen, we're getting into the holiday season. So you have Halloween coming up, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. We're going to run the gauntlet, Q4 gauntlet. If you don't know, that's Q4. That's when the majority of us resellers do our sales. So what I'm going to show y'all today is kind of like what my bread and butter is, and that, you know, I make money every single day on these things. Now, you know, I'm the hat guy, and I can't go and, you know, not showing hats. Listen, if you're picking up hats for 25 cents to $1, these things are great. You know, anything that has like local items, sports teams. I just sold this today. You know, all kinds of stuff, you know, even like vintage, you know, hats. You know, and we'll dive into hats and cleaning and all that stuff in a later episode. But that's just, you know, like a basis. So, you know, hats. I do a bunch of shoes. So sneakers, super hot, new and used sneakers. You know, you get them cleaned up or, you know, buy them new. Sneakers do well. Cowboy boots. I've been killing it with cowboy boots. If you have cowboy boots or you can find cowboy boots, man, I'm telling you what, these fly off my shelves, especially like, you know, like leather boots like this, leather hiking boots. I sell so many of these. Oh, getting back to hats, man, listen, you find the right kind of like vintage sport hat, you know, these can bring serious money. Like I said, you know, sneakers as well. You know, I bought these used. Look how clean these are. If you're finding clean sneakers, you know, at your thrift shops, you may have to pay up a little bit, but guess what? It's gonna definitely turn around for you. And then listen, nothing better than jacket season. It's jackets. Okay. Listen, Carhartt, super popular brand still. You know, so anything Carhartt, I love picking up. Let's see. Check it out. Sweaters, crew neck sweaters are still hot. Champion reverse weave stuff. If you find it, grab it. All right.
What happened there?
Next up, puffer jackets. Puffer jackets. Listen, this was very stylish last season. The style has continued. And look what's behind me. If you got access to camo, I've been selling so much camo in the last month. Camo, you know, hunting season's here. Definitely pick up some camo. You know, special, you know, different brands can bring different prices, but do your research. But you know, like, hey, if you haven't thought about it, camo, okay? And then listen, it's already here for some of us. Hoodie weather. Hoodies. Listen, if you can pick these up, great way to, you know, turn some of your investment into some cash. And then sports teams. Look, sports teams. Everyone, you know, a lot of people love sports. NFL, you know, baseball playoffs is coming up. You know, so pick, you know, if you can pick up sports stuff, get it listed. You know, hey, I might be a little late on these. I like to get all my sports stuff listed before the NFL season starts even. So, but hey, for Christmas, these make perfect Christmas gifts. And the last thing I'm going to show you, vintage hunting jackets. Vintage hunting jackets are super popular this time of year. If you find vintage Woolrich, vintage wool, lined items, buffalo plaid, that these can turn into serious money makers. So that's some of my what's trending today. Like I said, Christmas stuff, Halloween stuff, Thanksgiving stuff, those are all things that are definitely trending. So if you have anything that you're waiting to list, get that stuff listed now. So that's what's trending on eBay. So back to you guys.
So obviously Cernoch kind of got the his thumb on the pulse of what's going on in the clothing world. Next up, we're going to be looking at some little known items that you may have walked past numerous times. You may have seen it at a sale. You may have seen somebody sell this, but not realize that it's really better than what you thought. So here we've got the deep dive into a specific item that
Okay, everyone. In this deep dive episode, I just wanted to show you guys some of the stuff or one of the things that I found that I was going to just use for scrap. And I realized, holy moly, I can't use it as a scrap. I looked up the eBay comps and realized how much money it was actually worth if I was to put some of it together and sell it as a lot. So this is what we got here, just a big bucket of wire. At the auction that I was at, there was about 4 or 5 of those buckets, and I was able to get them for a really cheap price, and just started like looking at comps. I put them in a priority box, and once the priority box was full, that's all they got, and I just made another priority box. So really just want you guys to look and see things that you can actually put together. People use them for crafts and stuff like that, and you can actually make really good money on them, and you don't even realize it. Thanks, guys. Can't wait to do another episode here. Take care.
Hey, thanks, Leroy. Man, what some great information. Who would have thought you could sell scrap wire on eBay or any site? I know there are scrap yards that take metal, like he was saying. So, man, a great thing to look out for is things that no one else have thought of. Look it up. You never know. Up next, we're jumping into the reseller hack, the Q&A portion of the show, where you, the viewer, get to be involved. Send in your questions either in the comment of this video or via Facebook, Instagram, Reseller Information Network. Let's jump in. We've got tips and tricks from, I would tell you, probably one of the most innovative guys in the reselling game. So we're bringing to you tips and tricks from my man, Tim, over the years.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? So today I'm going to give you guys a quick little tip. I guess it's a tip / trick. It's a tip trick, a trick tip. So it's almost something that I think is important for everybody, is an item for everybody to have with them if they're a reseller. So for those of you that don't know, I do specialize in antique and vintage glass. One of my best sellers is uranium and Vaseline glass. And eventually one of these shows we'll be able to do a little bit more of a deep dive into specific uranium and Vaseline glass. But one thing that can help you along the way is a very simple object, and that is a black light. So you can find these in any shape, size, available online, and there is a Overtheyears black light that is in prototype, so stay tuned for that. But until then, you can grab yourself a black. So what you want to do is you want to find a LED UV black light. Okay, you can find those on Amazon. We'll try and get you guys some links in the description. And so what this is this is going to be your tool to finding uranium and Vaseline glass out there in the wild. Now, what makes uranium and Vaseline glass, and there are other colors of glass that will glow, what makes them glow is back in the day, they used to use uranium oxide in the mixture of glass in order to obtain these colors. Vaseline glass looks like Vaseline. Uranium glass is going to be green. But there are also other colors of glass and ceramic that will glow. And the only way for you to find out is to flash this light on those items. So whether you're at the thrift store, an estate sale, a yard sale, flea market, sometimes obviously it's going to be a little bit difficult because of the lighting. But you just have to get really close with the light and you'll be able to see it glow green, sometimes orange, and other colors as well. And so if you see it glow, just pick it up, take it home. And then from that point on, you'll be able to research it and be able to identify those items and sell them. Some pieces of uranium and Vaseline glass can sell for anywhere as high as thousands of dollars. Some pieces are only going to sell for $5-10. Now, that's part of the learning process. But the only way that you're going to be able to get started is to get yourself a black light. So I highly suggest walking around with a black light as one of your reseller tools when you're out picking. Even over time, you'll be able to tell more so as you get adjusted to looking for those items. You'll be able to tell without a black light. But even sometimes myself, I might think that an item glows, and when I bring it home, it does not. So it's important to have that light with you whenever you're out picking. We will also put a link to in the description of this video to a video that I have done previously, which will help you as far as how to photograph these items when you get them home and you're ready to list them, photographing them with a black light. So hopefully this is something that you guys will be able to use in the future when you're out picking for items, and that is the black light in order to find yourself some uranium and Vaseline glass in the wild. Boom.
There you go. Hot take, tips and tricks. Guys, you're probably going to need a bag or something to carry around with you because there's lots of tools that you do need when you're out there picking, especially if you're looking for glass. If you want to see glass in live action, though, go and check Tim's YouTube over the years. Monday night's auction, show the glow, black light in full effect. You want to be there for that. You don't want to miss that. Plus, you can find some great deals on some glass items that you could probably even resell. There's margin there. So, guys, we're going to jump into our segment where we want you as the viewer involved in what we're doing. We're going to run a Q&A section every week. And I got like the old school Q&A, got a little card that's kind of in the blur right here, but the little note card action. So we're going to be asking our panelists here's the first question.
Wait, do we get points if we answer these questions right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's really a specific right or wrong in these.
Okay.
What's one thing that you would change if you started selling today, knowing what you know now that you didn't know then?
I ended up doing it now, but when I first started, I was working out of my house, and it's so much better to have your own separate place where you're not working in your house. You might have better internet in your house. I'm going to put that right there. But it's always better to have, even if it's a shed or something. When you're starting off, you need to learn. You need to save money and build money. But I really personally think you should have a little separate shed or a separate warehouse, or even a separate, not really a room because you want to keep it out of your house, but something that's detached from your everyday life, I think is a really smart idea.
I'm sure that I know my wife would think that's a key thing as well. Tim, so what's one thing you would change if you started selling today?
One thing I would change if I started reselling today is I would only listen to the information that I get from the Reseller Information Network. I think.
Ding, ding, ding.
No, I mean, there's a million things that you would change if you started over, right? But I think I think the real underlying message of this question is you have to always be learning and always be accepting to change. Everything that you do one way when you're starting at reselling, 90% of that is going to change when you get into, further down the road into reselling. So I think that, you would probably look back, there'd be 90% of the things that I did when I first started, I would change. I mean, I was writing labels out and taking them to the post office and paying for them at the post office when I first started. Now, obviously I use a thermal printer and I use pirate ship, and those are things that we'll talk about as these episodes progress. But I just think that I would change a lot of things just because you're forever learning when it comes to reselling. At least smart resellers do. And I think that that's one thing about, all of us here is, we're always asking each other questions, and we're always bouncing ideas off of each other, and we're always trying to learn more. It's about being a sponge. So I think in short, I would change a lot of things, and I don't think you can narrow it down to one thing. I think change is good, and in the game of reselling, it's always about adjusting and adapting.
There you go. Cernoch, same question.
Absolutely. I'm a kind of piggyback off of Tim's. Yeah, I would change a lot of things about, my kind of like, reselling career, but about buying, like at the beginning, I was buying a lot of stuff now that you just kind of look at it and go, oh, well, that's $10, $15 items. I've changed that and gone for more high dollar items, but that has all come with knowledge, and that's come with, just like knowing what you're looking for. And like Tim said, adapting, just kind of like learning how to adapt to certain things where, we had different platforms, different, come and go, and all, different settings, with eBay, and, so it's more about adapting than changing. And one thing too, the one thing I would change if I kind of start over is being more organized with my inventory and
Preach.
Using, then that's for something, like every reseller, if you're starting out, or if you're, just starting out, or, you've been doing this, maybe take some time to reevaluate, your inventory processes and where things go. Cause nothing's worse than selling a jacket and then going, where is it? And then spending 20, 30 minutes, an hour looking for it and stressing over that, where you can go to, this rack or this box or this tub that's all labeled and you have it all skewed up, where you can go and say, oh, it's right there. Boom, grab it. And that's things that I had to do, with my hats. I started out with 100 hats. So I kind of already knew like where everything was. But then as I got to 200, 300, 400, when I got to like 500 hats, it was kind of like, where is anything? So then I had to go back and inventory everything. So that's what I can just say. That would be like the main change I would do is, before you even start, get an inventory system together. So
there you go. All right, Jimmy.
Now that I've had time to think about it, I feel like anytime we do questions, I'm gonna have to be last because I'm not as quick as these guys, and I'm fully admit, like, I struggle when it comes to teaching sometimes, but I know what it is now. Like, I would get my picture setup dialed in better than when I first started. I mean, can you just lay something on the floor and take a picture of it? Yes, you can. But
the toes in the picture. That's what.
Yeah. These guys, I know these guys have really good setups. You can easily come up with a setup with good lighting, with a good backdrop, and it's not going to cost you a lot of money. Just literally from down at the craft store, you can come up with something that you can put together to take a lot better pictures, get the item nice and clear, get a nice, whether you go with a white backdrop or like a tile backdrop or a wood, whatever you decide to do. It's very easy to set up. It's not going to cost you a lot, and your pictures will come out a lot better just putting a little bit of time into that. So that's something I would definitely change. When I first started, I was literally just throwing something on my carpet floor or whatever. Like, I would definitely set up because I have my picture set up perfectly now. And then, photo room, that's another thing. Learn some of the apps, get photo room app and use it to take out some of the background stuff. So spend some time learning how to take pictures, get yourself a little setup. It's not going to cost you a lot of money. It's not going to take a lot of time, and your pictures will come out great.
Yeah, for me, I'd piggyback on all of these things, and I would just tell you guys, for me, the number one was organization, because my shed is still a wreck, and I haven't got complete control of it. It's a lot easier when you've got 10, 20 items. When you have 2,000 plus, it becomes a problem. So make sure you do that. Here's one that everybody struggles with. How do you stay motivated to list? And now Cernoch's at the top, so we'll just start up there with him.
That's fine with me. Listen, this is how I stay motivated. List. This is full time for me. This is full time. I got kids. I got a mortgage. I got bills. Yo, if I'm not listing, if I'm not selling, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I've been doing this over probably full time or 3.5, 4 years. So yeah, that's what motivates me is hey, we're paying the bills, make it, if money can't motivate you, that's hard, but I can understand. But mine's a little bit different. It's I wake up every morning going, all right, let's get to work. I've designed my lifestyle of being a reseller, which gives me the freedom to do a lot of different things. Go to my kids' baseball games and, go being able to do something at the drop of the hat where, if I was in the office setting or if I was still at the restaurant, I wouldn't be able to do. So that gives me the motivation just to be like, all right, get up, and list, take pictures. And I know it may seem like you're doing the same thing over and over, but you spread it out. You go shopping and you go thrifting and you go to yard selling and it mixes it up a lot. So that's how I kind of stay motivated to list every day. I have to look at my kids in the eyes and go, all right, Dad's got to go to work,
You guys moved it around. Let's go. Leroy.
So guys, to keep myself motivated is just like we're sitting here today. We're all from social media. We're all, you're getting to know us through social media. So encourage somebody on Facebook, encourage somebody on Instagram. Look at somebody's Instagram. If they put a clock up or anything like that, they'll do things on Instagram. That encourages me by me being able to encourage someone else. So to me, it's big on, just being able to get encouraged or to encourage other people, because we're all doing this together in our own little areas.
Jimmy.
All right. For me, it's easy. The thing that encouraged me the most, or keeps me encouraged and keeps me listening, is I just made, like Eric said, a 2,000-mile trip out east to hang out with my friends. And the only reason I was able to do that is because of the work I put in reselling and selling on eBay. I was able to, with the money from that I've been making, take that trip. And while I was out of that trip, I'm thinking to myself, does it really, could it get any better than this? It can't. This is where it's at. Because of what I do, because I list, because I put in the work, I'm able to make this trip out here. And I look forward to doing it again next year. And then one other thing is, I keep pictures of my least favorite careers I've ever had or jobs I've ever had, jobs that I keep a little picture of their logo whenever I'm feeling discouraged. I'm like, oh, all right, I remember how bad that was. This just doesn't even compare. The phone's not ringing off the hook. I'm not having to answer customer service calls and stuff like that. So that helps a lot. And but from a part-time, we got someone needs to address, we're all full-time right here, right? Someone needs to talk about for a part-time, someone that's doing this for part-time for extra cash, put something, either put money aside or something to show results of what you're doing. Whether it's something that you buy or a vacation that you go on, make sure you have something where you can see the results from what you're doing. Don't just as soon, I don't recommend just getting the money and as soon as you get it, spend it. Put something aside, build a little savings account or something that you can go to and look at man, this is why I'm doing this. This is the results of that. You know what I mean? So something like that can help as well.
Tim.
I I think I have to take a little bit from Jimmy and from Cernoch. I'm full time, you know, and I live in a major city in Washington D.C. And you know, if you're not making money, then you can't. I can't do this. So like that's kind of what motivates me. I think another thing also that motivates me, which kind of is about what Jimmy said, is you know like I made this the decision to do this full time, and I'm fortunate enough to where I have you know, an amazing wife and support system who, you know, believes in what I'm doing and encourages me, you know, to be successful. And I think, you know, those are both very important factors for a full-time reseller. You know, it's just I kind of want to one thing that keeps me motivated is, you know, some people push you, okay? And I think when I see people doing things and I'm like, dang, how they doing that? And then it's like, I know that deep down inside that I could do that times 10, but I could only do that times 10 if I actually put in the legwork. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, for me, it's not necessarily about proving anything to anybody else as much as it is proving something to myself. You know, like I've been through a lot in my life, and it's just like, you know, I want to be the best. Whatever I do, I want to be the best at. You know, and that's just, and you know, you can't be the best at something if you're not putting in no work. You know, and to me, that's what it comes down to. It's just about, you know, you got to be built for it. You got to live that life of the grind. You know what I'm saying? And eventually, you know, for me, the way I look at it is, if I keep grinding, you know, the day-to-day grind, the payoff is going to be a life that, you know, I'm going to be able to live with my family, and you know, I'm going to be able to do these things. I'm going to be able to travel and things like that. And I don't have to worry about, oh man, I got to go to work Friday night at the restaurant, and then I be back there Saturday morning and Saturday night. And then next thing you know, Sunday comes around and I'm ready for a 14-hour nap. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, I just, you know, those are the things that keep me motivated and keep pushing me to, you know, like, to go back to the first question, adjusting and adapting and building a better lifestyle for me and my family.
There you go. How do you stay motivated to list is probably one of the hardest things to adapt to as a reseller, because you have to shift your way of thinking. To be honest, you know, you've heard it said you make money at the buy, which is true, but you don't make money at the buy if you don't list what you bought. So you make money when you list it, and then ultimately when you sell it. So you want to do a quality listing, you want to get it done. I've actually had to shift the way I do things. I force myself to list first, ship second, because I have to ship, right? I have to ship or I get in trouble. I get kicked off platforms, that kind of stuff. Like, you got to ship. So it's like one of those things. You can also set up a thing for yourself as to, I will not buy anything else until I list what I got. But most of us are in a hole so deep, other than Jimmy, because he has no death pile. Congrats, Jimmy, on that. Hey, the next one kind of ties to that. How many items should you list a day? That's a common question by tons of resellers. I kind of know the answer to this, but let's shift it around the horn again. Let's go to Tim.
How many items should you list a day?
Yeah. Have you heard that 1,000 or 2,000 times?
I mean,
in the past week?
Hello, 100 a day, every day, 7 days a week. No, I mean, listen, there's no number. There's no number to how many items you should list a day. Obviously, you should list every day. Unfortunately, you know,
life,
the way that the algorithm, apparently there's this thing called an algorithm. I don't know. The only way to beat the algorithm is to believe that there is no algorithm. Okay. That's my first piece of advice. All right. But I mean, you should list what you can. Okay. Like, you know, life is a real thing. You know, no matter how many people on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok try to tell you that they can do all these marvelous, wonderful, superhuman things, in reality, it's just not the case. Okay. Like, life happens. You know, you have to have a balance. But I mean, if I was forced, if you were like, hey, Tim, here's a gun and here's your head, you got to tell me an answer, I'm going to probably say I try to list between 5 and 10 items a day. There's going to be days where I might list 20 or 30 items. There's going to be back-to-back days where I list 0 items, okay?
Mm.
Because there's, when you're a one-man crew, like, most of us are, obviously some of us do have some help here and there, but like I have to ship. I got to, like shipping for me takes a long time sometimes. Sometimes I'm taking 50, 60 orders to the post office. I have a YouTube sale. I have a Whatnot sale. Then I have eBay, Etsy, Mercari, Poshmark, Depop, Grailed sales. So like it takes time to pack sometimes. So for me, it's more about the effort than it is the number. Okay. So if you can only list 2 items a day, then list those 2 items today. And then tomorrow try to list 12. But I think for me, the sweet spot, I guess the reality like would be 5 to 10 items, and it depends if you're cross listing, say you list 5 items, but you cross listed on 5 platforms, that helps too, and then there's things that we'll talk about as this show progresses. And I think one of those things is waking up in the morning and if you're not gonna be able to list anything, go to your eBay store, sort your listings by what's going to end today. And then every single item that's in your listings that has a red date on it, end those listings and either relist them or sell similar. I know Cernoch always talks about if you relist it, the items that have watchers will be notified. So like things like that are important, so it's not always about the number. Don't get fixated on the number because it will drive you crazy. And I think that's with everything. You don't always want to, it's not always about the number. It's about the effort and, finding ways to be active is what matters most.
Cernoch.
I think so. Me, I never wake up and go, oh, I gotta list 20 items. I list all the time. I like to list all the time. If you're full time like me and like you find time to do it all the time. Sometimes if I wake up in a good mood in the morning, it's like, hey, let's bang out some listings. Or if I'm or maybe there's a football game on or something like that I got on the background at night. Hey, let's just do some listings as we're going, as we're watching. I like to multitask. One thing though, I think about like that question though, and we always hear it, like, well, how many items should you list? I think it goes deeper than that. Rather than how many, it's kind of like, what are you listing? Is it stuff that people actually want? Is it stuff that's gonna like sell quickly? Is it stuff that that there's good comps on? So I take all those things into consideration, and sometimes I don't even go on just what like the quantity. I go sometimes more of the value. Like, hey, I listed $2,000 worth of stuff today. And I think if you kind of like think in terms of that, because listen, I could do 10 listings today and be $10. And it's like, all right, well, I listed $100. Well, that for me, that's not going to really, do much for me. It's where like, I like to look at it on more of a dollar amount to where it's like, okay, if I sold everything I listed today, I'd be in a good situation. So that's kind of how I look at it. And just like, again, listing in the morning, listing at night, listing through the day, if you're part-time, you can come home and, hey, I would say if you're part-time, this is where like, I think the question comes from a lot of part-timer people. It's like, try to get something up. Just try to get something up every day, because that's how I believe the algorithm works. Is if they see you constantly putting in stuff and consistently putting in stuff, they're going to reward you more than someone that listed something 2 months ago and never came back. So,
Leroy.
So guys, here's the way I look at it. I look at it as it doesn't matter how many listings I do a day, but I just try to have the right tools to list what I have to list every day. So I get my tools. I see what I like. Oh, I like this. This is cool. I learn a little bit about it, because you always got to try to learn when you're listing. Try to do things that are going to make you want to list. Oh, I learned that this wire is worth a certain amount of money. Now I want to list all the wire that I have. So every day, try to find something that gets you excited about what you're listing. That's my clue.
There you go. Jimmy.
Oh, I get to answer this. To me, this is like I could do a really long answer on this question. But I'll try to keep it as short as possible. Like there's so many variables. Like, well, you got to be honest with yourself. Like, are you really listing something every day? You've probably heard it from a lot of resellers and YouTubers that you got to list every day. That if you want your sales to improve, listing every day is the way to do it. That's the truth. I mean, we all experience it. We all know. So be honest. Come up with a number. Come up with like Tim said. Come up with a 5 and be honest with yourself. Are you actually listing those 5? And hold yourself accountable and do it. And then if you're not doing it, don't ask, well, why aren't my sales bad? It's because you're not listing. You're not being honest with yourself. You're not doing it. And then as you're doing it, improve your processes for listing. Find ways to make listing faster and better. I used to say I will never list from my phone. I hate listing from my phone. I'm only listing from my computer. Guess what, guys? I now list only from my phone. I can sit up with my family up on the couch upstairs. I take the pictures down here in the basement, go upstairs with my phone full of pictures, and I sit on my couch and I list. And it's improved everything. I can list because I don't cross list, because that's another, Tim was right. That's another, because I don't cross list, and I only list on eBay, I'm trying to do 25 a day. I don't always get there, but I'm trying to get there. And again, I'm also like Chris, like I don't have an exact number. I just end up counting when I'm done. I'm like, okay, 25, that was a good day, so be honest with yourself. And as you're doing it, learn and improve your processes to where you can list faster.
Okay. So for me, I've shifted the way I think about all that. Originally I was like a 20 a day. I wanted to do 20 a day because that's what I heard everybody should do. But here's the problem with doing a number. If you do a number, you know what you're going to list. The easiest thing you can list to get to that number generally. There's some tips and tricks I actually picked up from other YouTubers. I've watched Daily Refinement a little bit. Now, obviously, I can't relate to a degree with him because he's selling more than probably all of us combined in a day. But here's the thing that I did pick up is set yourself up for success the next day. Like go ahead and have a tote cleaned and prepared for you to sit down and list the next morning. And I've been trying to do that more than what I've done in the past. And also I'm looking for dollars. Like if you list 100 $2 items, like you've listed $200. If you want to sell $200 a week, that's great for you. But if you want to sell more, then you probably need to list better items like they have brought up. So like today, for instance, we did listing and loafing. You guys can check us out every Tuesday morning here on this channel. And we're in there working. And I did 16 listings, $572 today. So that's an awesome goal to be at for me is 500. If I can do that, I feel like I've done something great. So congrats for me. Anyway, we have a few more questions, a couple more questions that we're gonna kind of rapid fire through these next ones. What platform is the easiest to start reselling and why? Ingo.
Mercari. Mercari is the easiest platform to start reselling because the listing process is the easiest, and that's pretty much it. But I think obviously I would suggest starting on eBay because it's probably eBay and Etsy are probably the most difficult. And I think that if you learn the most difficult first, then the other ones become like clockwork. So that would be my answer.
There you go. Cernoch.
You're muted.
You're muted, Cernoch.
I went mute. I would probably list or the easiest platform I would start people out on, especially if you have like a lot of clothes, would be Poshmark. I think the streamlined way that Poshmark has it with their shipping. I think their shipping enables someone to be brand new and they can figure it out. Like all you have to do is get a UPS box and throw it in there. Not first class, but like you don't have to deal with first class or this or that. You can just throw it in a box. They give you a label and you ship it out. So I think Poshmark would be probably the easiest to start people on. And I've actually started people that have been new to reselling on Poshmark, and they have found pretty good success starting there.
Leroy.
The way I look at it, guys, is I only sell on one platform. I do sell flea market swap meets and on the street corner if I have to. But the way that I look at it is What I do is I just sell on eBay at a online platform, and I try to learn everything in that platform. I'll click on buttons and click on stuff just to see when I'm listing. What does that do? What's that going to do? Or there'll be little questions that pop up that say, "Hey, learn more." So just in that platform, try to do the best that you can in that platform to know it better, to be more comfortable. But every platform is going to make you money if you do it right.
There you go. Jimmy.
For me, the easiest would be, because you wouldn't have to deal with shipping, is you could do Facebook Marketplace if you live in a bigger city locally and just have people pick up or meet up. It's a good way to get started. The hardest part about Facebook would be the actual sale, making the connection and selling the item. But as far as listing the items, Facebook Marketplace is actually super easy, and you can add shipping to that if you want to. But there's people that make a good living just selling on their local marketplace. But my recommendation is eBay, because I feel like you're going to learn the most if you start listing on eBay and selling on eBay. It's not that hard, and you're going to learn a lot more about the shipping and about how to list.
So, guys, obviously you've heard from the experts, and everybody had a little different input. I will tell you, there is no perfect platform, and if people tell you that, then they're sadly mistaken. They all have pros and cons to each one of them, and basically, I will piggyback in the degree is what you do want to do is you want to settle in one platform and kind of get the hang of that before you start jumping all over the place, because honestly, you'll just confuse yourself and you can end up getting in trouble with selling things on multiple platforms out of the gate. Pick one platform, kind of stay in that lane, reach out to people. Guys, we are available here on the RIN. Feel free to drop us questions, come in on Tuesdays, hang out on listing and loafing. We will do everything we can to help you, but we won't list your items for you, and we can't ship for you, and we can't do those basic things, but we can point you in the right direction. I will say, like for me, I have tried most platforms. I haven't sold anything on Depop or Grailed. I have tried Posh. I think I sold one item on Posh when I got started. Of course, I had Leroy, which weren't that great to sell to begin with. If you have the right item on any of these platforms, you'll sell stuff. That's really how it works out. Some are easier than others. Shipping's a hurdle for a lot of people. So there you go. All right. Last question for everyone is, where do you like to source and why?
I mean, wherever the bargain is at, that's where I'm going. Wherever the bargain is at. Man, look, I source everywhere. You'll find me at the thrift store, the estate sale, the flea market, the yard sale, the garage sale, the virtual sale, the sales sale. I mean, listen, I'm everywhere. Listen, Whatnot, I'll source on Whatnot. I mean, Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace around here are kind of like eBay, so it's a little difficult to find like the bargains. I know I see it all the time on online where people find 17,000 video games on Facebook Marketplace for $10. I mean, kudos to them, but that don't happen where I live. Never has, never will. When it does happen, best believe I'm gonna let everybody know about it, though. No, I mean, personally, I think I enjoy the flea markets the best. I'm a volume guy, so for me, I feel like if I can go and have that many people to try and source from in one place, I feel like I can get more stuff in less time, and more times than others. At flea markets, you can find some really good deals. So for me, obviously, everybody has their own honey hole. I'm fortunate enough to have one, but it's only available to me once every 2 weeks. But outside of that, I think I like flea markets the best, and I like the long yard sales, man, because I can literally just do 3 days with my fellas and pack up a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, that's for me. Flea markets is my favorite, but I will source anywhere and everywhere. It does not matter to me, and that's how everybody should be. To be perfectly honest with you, if you ain't using all your resources to do your sources, then you're not sourcing.
There you go. Cernoch.
All right. So my favorite place is my honey hole. Okay, so I have a crazy thrift shop that's close to me that has like cheap stuff. But I always say this: listen, for new resellers, old resellers, whatever. There's money in these streets everywhere. Like Tim said, you can source anywhere. I hear the people are like, well, my Goodwill has high prices. Well, guess what? Don't go to that Goodwill. Go, get like you said, Facebook Marketplace. Listen, I know a lot of people that do online retail arbitrage, literally scouring online and going and finding sites that have deals and closeouts and super discounts where you could just sit at your house and source. But like I said, my favorite one is my honey hole. But like I said, I leave a bunch of stuff. Listen, there two resellers can walk in the same thrift store and find great items that maybe is in their wheelhouse. So, like I said, don't ever get frustrated with sourcing, because you can look everywhere, and there's you could be driving down the street on trash day and find stuff. So yeah, that's kind of like my tips for sourcing.
Leroy.
So my tips for sourcing, guys, is I would probably just figure out where Tim's going. If Tim goes everywhere, I don't know if he goes to Bebe's basement, but I'd probably go to Bebe's basement. Eric just brings me stuff, so that's an easy one. And then Cernoch, I would just go in his basement because he has more stuff than anybody put together. I go to Jimmy's house, grab some stuff off the shelves, but for me, guys, personally, I like to do estate auctions. A lot of people think estate auction is an estate sale. Wrong answer. An estate auction is where I get all my tools. I go to the old man's house. He has stuff in dirty buckets, and I buy that stuff, and I love it. That's really what I would do.
Jimmy.
It's funny that Leroy mentioned estate auctions, because I spent some time in Ohio and talking to some of the guys out there. There's estate auctions all the time everywhere out there in Ohio. In Colorado, they almost don't exist. Now, there's 35 estate sale companies having estate sales in the houses, and that's actually, I enjoy that the most, estate sales, because I find some really good stuff, and it's just a hunt. It's such a treasure hunt. And, people will say, oh, well, my estate sale companies are priced high. I have them that are priced high, but they always miss. They always miss. And then I really feel like I'm doing a good job of treasure hunting. So for my enjoyment, estate sales, I really enjoy estate sales, the whole treasure hunt of it.
There you go. Hey, so for me, I'm like Tim, dude. I'll pick anywhere and everywhere, and you guys have all been with me. I'm getting in somebody's house. You know what's happening. you know we're going where no picker has gone before. Like we're going somewhere. For me, I would just tell you my tip when it comes to sourcing is don't be afraid to try new things. There's so many people that are like, I'm thrift exclusive. I don't like going to garage sales. I don't want to go on these long sales. I don't like estate sales. Like, dude, you just hadn't went enough. I live on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. I'm clear in the middle of the ocean. So if I want to find something, I've got to use every resource available. And so I do love estate sales. I love going to the long yard sales. I even have some thrift stores that I have some connection there, and they're able to buy that. But don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to tell people what you do. I am a reseller of items. What do you sell? Everything that sells. That's what I sell. I sell what I find. So if you can find it, you can sell it. It's almost like if you build it, they will come. If you find it, you can sell it. If it's quality items, and we'll be talking about that more in later broadcasts of the show. We're going to pull everybody back on the screen. We want to wrap this thing up, and we do appreciate you guys for being here. We thank you for coming and being a part of this show. Looking forward to what we can learn and what we can provide down the road. I do encourage you guys to follow every one of these guys on social media. Hit us up if you have questions. Drop comments down below in the show, and we're going to try to get to all your questions. And if not, we're going to cover some of the comments that you have down below in designated episodes. So look forward to every Tuesday. We're going to be trying to drop this thing at 3:00 Eastern on YouTube. So every Tuesday, be there for that. And then 9:30 Tuesday mornings, we're on here working, hanging out. So come by then. You can drop questions, comments. Hey, tell a friend to tell a friend and share this thing out. You guys got closing comments?
I just want to say I'm really excited for this opportunity to be able to help others. I think there's one thing that you'll learn that I learned early on in meeting each one of these guys is that there's a willingness to help others. I think that's super important, especially in this community where it can kind of be cutthroat and unnecessarily. There's a lot of people out here that are eager to learn. And now I think you found a place where you found multiple people who are eager to teach. So I'm super excited. For me, it's just all about entertainment and education. That's what I try to live by, that motto. So hopefully you guys can get a little bit of both here at the Reseller Information Network. I just wanted to do that really bad.
Yeah.
Reseller Information
I really wanted
Network.
you to do that too. So thank you. I'll just say, again, like Eric said, leave comments down below. If there's a tip and trick you want to learn about, if there's some that a certain category that you want to know what's trending in that category, or whatever it is, comment down below. Let us know any 101 stuff that you guys want to learn about. We're going to do a lot of shipping stuff, like I said, but let us know down below, question and answers. Make sure to comment. Let us know what you guys want us to talk about or what you want to learn about.
Guys, the way I look at it is you guys have a great network of people here that were willing to try. I believe that we are going to be having guests once in a while. And I also believe that there will be stuff, if we show products or anything like that, they will be down in the description. So check out, what we have in there, things that we use, certain sprays, certain stuff that help us in our reselling journey. And I'm just glad to be here with you guys and hope that you guys come back every week to check us out.
Absolutely. Yeah. I just want to thank everybody, on this, panel. We've been doing listen, loafing, and we've gone hunting together and things like that. So I think this is a perfect mix. Listen, like I said, we call ourselves experts, but hey, we know a lot. Like I say, hey, we just know a lot of stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
And we've been in the game long enough where we can help you out. So if you're having an issue, like I have people reach out to me on Instagram all the time. Hey, I got this hat. What is it? And then I can let them know. So it's like things like that, but it even goes deeper than that, where it's like, some things to us that we do in, day out, we might go like, whoa, like you didn't know that? But yeah, there's a lot of things that we didn't know when we started. So, instead of going like, oh yeah, you're a newbie, we're here to help. We can help answer questions and take you along on this journey. If you want to find your kind of like I always say, your lifestyle design, if you want to be a reseller and do these things, this is a good, opportunity to take time and learn some items that maybe you didn't know about. So absolutely.
Thank you guys for being here. Make sure to like and subscribe, share it with all your friends, and we will see you next week. We're out. Later.